So welcome everyone, good morning. We are Startup Tucson. We're a nonprofit that serves entrepreneurs here in Tucson as well as the region. We're so glad you're here. And one way that we serve entrepreneurs is by offering this Tucson Startup Ecosystem Guide. It's a super fun and easy way to get to know the ecosystem and get to know which programs are designed specifically for you and your business to start or grow. I'm Sophia Gonzalez. I'm the engagement coordinator. I'm going to be passing it off to our program manager, Kenesha Raymond, and she will be introducing our wonderful Startup Coffee guest speaker today. I'm
the program manager here at Startup Tucson, and so happy to have you guys at coffee. Today we have Selina Barajas, and she's a native Tucsonian, graduated from Cachoa High Magnet School and the U of A, and she also owns an amazing company. And so I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to have her introduce herself and tell you more about her company, and then we're going to jump into a coffee chat. Welcome.
Hey.
Introduce.
Good morning. Thank you for just this opportunity. I'm so excited. My name is Selina Barajas. I am a native Tucsonian, 4th generation, born and raised. Went to Choya High, Fihala, University of Arizona, and I also received my master's degree from UCLA in urban planning. So I lived in LA for 10 years, and that's where I just got this idea of engaging more with the street and the street view and looking at community development in an innovative way. So I'm back home with my family here, back in Tucson, enjoying these days.
Tell us the name of your company and about your company. I'm going to mute myself in between because I think we have a little bit of an echo.
Okay. So my company is called Mi Reina Mobile Boutique. I started that in 2016. There's just really a combination of events that led to this mobile boutique. I really think of it this morning. I was thinking of it in terms of like baking a cake. You can't have one ingredient to bake a cake. So when my mobile boutique idea stemmed, there was a lot of things from living in LA, the fashion industry out there, coming back home, going back and forth, and looking at the fashion here, what was going on here in Tucson, and then becoming a mom, and everything just kind of changed. My mental, physical, emotional state of being, and me not wanting to go out shopping anymore, and looking at this mindset of supporting local and how to create more of a community. I'm big on customer service, and I'm big on community building. So when I think about supporting local, I also think about how is that business supporting the community. So that's what I started to think about in 2016. I had this like, let's do this, Selina. Let's just go for it. Even though I don't know what I'm doing, let's just go full force. And that's when I created this mobile boutique. And it's very interesting because when you all do an awesome job of promoting, but when I was looking at that word social entrepreneurship, I remember taking a class in grad school, and that was one of my favorite classes, social entrepreneurship. And we went, instead of being in the class at UCLA reading on the computer, the professors took us out into different parts of Los Angeles County, into South LA, to downtown, to San Fernando Valley, just different parts of Los Angeles. And we met with different business owners, but all the business owners, they all said social entrepreneurship stems from an idea, something that's important to you. But they all said, don't expect to know everything when you're going out into this entrepreneurship world, because if you know all the tools, trust us, you're not going to do it. And that's just really been my thing. Sometimes I just, even though I don't know fully what I'm doing with this mobile boutique concept, I just keep going with it because it really stems from my heart and what's important to me. So it's a mobile boutique on wheels. It's a vintage truck and trailer. Long story short, it's a 1957 Chevy restored. My father restored the truck and trailer, a 1961 Siesta Liner vintage trailer. So this trailer is like the Mi Reina. It serves as the fitting room, but it's also been more of like a very for me personally, and for a lot of the reinas that come through the vintage trailer, like a healing space, very therapeutic, not just trying on clothes, but just like releasing a lot of personal dreams. I've had a lot of women and folks that don't identify as women come into the trailer and be able to try on the clothes in the comfort of just the space. And they could bring the kids along. They could just take a nap in there, drink some little coffee in there. It's just been a really innovative space. And I go out into areas that really raised me, streets that I grew up going up and down. So the southwest side of town.
I love that. I want to go back a little bit to what brought you to the point where you were like, you know what, I'm going to open this business. And how did that connect with maybe just living both in LA and then being from Tucson? Like the heart of that, what was that one thing that was like, I'm going to start this business and it's going to work?
So again, going back to that cake of baking. So I needed 2 eggs. So really it was one was, I was working at that time for a government sector. And, you know, doing important work for the area, for the community where I lived, city of Inglewood. But I've always been one to not be categorized in a box. So I've always been very creative, very innovative, very just thinking like just. And I remember sitting in our floor and just looking at a vacant space. The offices were vacant. So I didn't have a lot of company on my floor. And I was just kind of sitting there just thinking like, you know what? Like I have a lot of time. I could jot down some ideas, some notes, and really get this going. And also I listen to a lot of podcasts. One podcast I love, shout out to Super Mamas. It's a podcast in Los Angeles and a lot of brown mothers that are also entrepreneurs kind of doing their thing, you know, starting up businesses or maintaining businesses or going back and leaving a job or leaving something that no longer serves them and creating something of their own. So I really was thinking, you know what, if these mamas could do it, these women could do it, maybe I can do something, pursue something. So that was one, just kind of having this time frame, and also to want to feel like my own boss, because at that time I wasn't feeling like a boss. I wasn't feeling confident in this job that I didn't see myself for the rest of my life. So that was one. And then 2, really becoming a mom. I tell my daughter she really inspired me because, you know, our family lineage, it's named Mi Reina because my grandmother used to call me Mi Reina, my Nana Erlinda. We were very close. And, you know, she no longer was with us here physically on this earth after I became a mom. And that was always something like, oh, I just wish my Nana met our kids. I wish my Nana was able to hold my daughter and tell her stories and laugh and cook her soup, or, you know, go to the casino one day with her, just like how I used to do. So it was like that, keeping that family lineage, that legacy for my daughter. And now we have another daughter. So we have 2 little girls, and just letting them know, you know, they're queens, just like how my Nana she used to call me and say, hi, mi reina, which means my queen. Instead of saying, hi, little brat, or hey, little traviesa, it was like, no, my queen, my mi reina. And she calls all her granddaughters that and family members. So it wasn't just me. She made a lot of us feel special. So that was my concept. And my Nana also, whenever I would come back and forth from LA to Tucson, I always tried to, like, you know, pack the coolest stuff that I would get from the fashion district. So some cute little outfit or cute little purse or cute little earrings. And my Nana always made me feel like, wow, like, I like that purse, or where'd you get that? And then I started hearing compliments, or like family members, where did you get that dress? Where did you get this? So then I started realizing, you know what, let me see, maybe this is something that I could bring back and forth. Because if you look at, this is my urban planning mindset, if you look at the geographic map of Tucson, you know, I would just Google local boutiques in Tucson. And then they're all kind of like, you know, there's certain areas of town where all the local boutiques, mostly by the University of Arizona, 4th Avenue, historic 4th Avenue, downtown. There's not that many local boutiques on the southwest side of town. I don't want to say there's none, because there might be some. I maybe didn't do all my research, but I couldn't find one local boutique at that time frame. Now there's been some that have stemmed up, but back in 2016, I couldn't really find that many. So it was all big box stores where I used to shop growing up. Ross, Target, Old Navy, Marshalls, Walmart, you know, all those big company, big box stores where I'm just a customer. I'm just a number. I'm not, they don't care how my day's going. They don't know how my daughter is doing, what my dreams are. So when I started thinking that, I'm like, you know what? I'm pretty sure a lot of my neighbors I grew up with, a lot of my friends and family probably feel the same way. So it's really, I curate the fashion, I hand select the pieces, and it's with the reinas in mind, the people that I grew up with in mind, what they would want to rock here in Tucson.
I love that. I love thinking about your community, and I love how it kind of intersects. And it brings me to, I want to know more about your urban planning background and what you're doing here in the community in Tucson, how that kind of intersects and infuses into what you're doing. Coffee infuses into what you're doing.
So when I lived in LA, it was really eye-opening for me. I tell folks before I moved to Los Angeles, I could get anywhere in Tucson based on 3 streets: Valencia, Irvington, and Ajo. Tell me where to go, and I'll be able to get there on those 3 streets. And then when I moved to LA, it was a whole different beast. It was the freeway, the 10, the 405. So when I was just kind of thinking about bringing this concept, I would think about what was going on in LA. So I would tell folks LA was kind of like my mindset, and Tucson always had my heart. So I really enjoyed my time out there in terms of coming across a lot of other entrepreneurs and community events. This concept of pop-ups, I remember going to pop-ups like on 3rd Street in Santa Monica, Melrose, Boyle Heights, just different areas of just popping up, utilizing a building or a vacant space or a parking lot, and how to bring folks together. So that was my other thing that I wanted to bring to Tucson. Again, at that time, I didn't see too many folks on the southwest side of town doing these pop-ups of bringing other local businesses together. So I'm really big on community building and how to bring folks together to talk and mingle and interact, face to face, because I don't think we see enough of that here in Tucson. That's what really got me thinking about urban planning. Growing up super far southwest by Old Pascua, by Casino del Sol, just driving the streets and wondering, kind of like at that time, Sim City, if I could put a library here, or if I could place a cool little smoothie shop here instead of a drive-through liquor store, or if I could get this vacant brownfield development to like a nice pocket park for the community, how can I do that? So I didn't know that there's actually a system in place. Urban planning has been my secret map, like a manuscript that I never knew until I had to go to grad school and study about zoning and mapping and jurisdictions and the protocols and policies in place that gets all this development. So I feel like I've been able to have like a secret lens when I see these developments taking place in the future of our community. So that was another thing, being in LA, being so fast paced and seeing a lot of development take place daily, and then coming back home and kind of seeing that come through too eventually.
I love that. And what are you doing here with 12th Avenue? What are you doing on the transportation and mobility project?
So thankfully, Mi Reina, I feel like she's a person to me. She's allowed me to interact and get back into the community after being gone for a decade. So I was popping up back when I came home. I went to some local restaurants in the area and would plan events. And the city transportation develop and mobility department found out, who this person was popping up and wanted to see, hey, can we use your mobile boutique to do some outreach? We didn't use the mobile boutique to go out into 12th Avenue and do the outreach necessarily, but I feel like I was able to use the lens again through Mi Reina and do outreach to the community. So the 12th Avenue Street Improvement Project is a complete streets project. So complete streets is somewhat of a new concept here to Tucson. I would tell folks to compare any street. I would say maybe historic 4th Avenue would be considered a complete street just because it's walkable. There's parking, there's, shade, trees. There's a vibrancy about it. There's businesses, there's folks coming outside, there's local businesses. There's protected bike lanes. There's, all the amenities. When you think of the ideal street, it's a complete street. So what this project is, the 12th Avenue Street Improvement Project, is to bring a complete street on the south side, putting some investment after 20 plus years back into the community. So it's been a process of outreach, informing the residents, informing the businesses, the local community of what's going to take place, because it's going to look like a whole different street when it's complete. And hopefully all can enjoy. And it's just really to bring safety and that all folks can enjoy. Either, you're walking, you're driving, you're biking, you're in a wheelchair, you're pushing your stroller, crosswalks, elderly, from the old to the young, just so everyone can enjoy the street, not just the drivers.
I love that. It's I don't know if it's bad on your end, but use your business and your community development and planning, and kind of intersect those together to kind of help each other out. And what you're doing in the community is amazing. I want to go back to pre-COVID. Pre-COVID, you were doing pop-ups and people were showing up and they were buying your stuff. And then you had to kind of pivot because COVID happened. And I saw you turn everything more to online, more to like your Instagram, and they were buying from your Instagram. Can you talk more about how you pivoted, and did that affect your business in any way? Are you still pushing through? What's going on?
It did. I think for a lot of us, COVID has hit a lot of us hard, especially the creatives, but you got to keep going. So I think in June and July, I was just kind of like in a space of like a funk of, okay, what am I doing? The 12th Avenue Street Improvement, that's done. The project's done. I did my outreach for that. Just looking at Mi Reina, going back to the model. So I feel like COVID has allowed a lot of us to either fully restore back into a project, something that they love. So that could be like a family, the restoring of your business, the restoring of your plants. I've seen so many people go back and take care of their plants during this time. It sounds funny, but I've never seen so many people, restore what their surroundings, taking care of what they're looking at, or fully letting go, releasing, and just saying, you know what, I got to shut the doors. This is no longer valid in my life. So I kind of hit a crossroads of just saying, okay, I want to go back and really restore Mi Reina Mobile Boutique and what our vision is, excuse me, and think of it innovative. It's like the street, there's going to be roadblocks, there's going to be stop signs, there's going to be roundabouts, there's going to be, you're going to be driving one day and then you're going to, whoa, hold up, I didn't even know, I wasn't expecting this wasn't on my GPS, and I feel like that's been COVID. Like none of us expected this in January. I had an awesome vision board, full moon workshop. It was highly attended. We had 50 plus reinas there. We were all talking about our visions for 2020. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do an event once a month. I'm going to bring so many people together. I want to shut down this street. And then COVID hit. So now I'm trying to go back into this online. Obviously, I've been tip tap on trying to create this website. This really pushed me, and this coffee chat really pushed me to move forward with that, because I think I've been avoiding it, because I've been like, you know what, why do pop-ups? I see people face to face. Everyone could approach me. They have my phone number, they have my Instagram, but creating an online platform where folks that don't know who I am personally or don't know our story can go on, and order some stuff from us. So it's really had a shift, because I'm big again on community, and I was feeling this like, I'm big on energy, and I love to bring people together. I say the reinas, and you all reinas know who you are, because I've had some loyal reinas come through every single event that I've done since 2016. And I appreciate you all, because your energy keeps me going. So the fact that I wasn't able to see folks face to face, or have folks, talk to, or go inside our trailer, was like, okay, I don't want to stay stagnant either. So now I'm just really trying to create more of an online and more of the retail, going back to retail, because everybody needs something to wear during these days. And thinking of it like, what do I want to wear? I want to wear something comfortable, lounge attire, something that doesn't take a lot of time and effort, just something I could put on but feel good, because these days have been really depressing for a lot of us. affected a lot of our mental state as well. So I try to remember that when I pick the pieces, like what's going to make someone feel good when they're at home lonely, when they're losing their job, when they're trying to rebuild their life again. You know, what's going to make that Reina feel good, and how are they going to thrive in what we're wearing? No, I can hear you. It's quiet over here. I have no distractions.
You're still bringing together the community part of it, as well as the people that you're bringing together, still giving them that same love that you were giving them when they were in person, and now that we're shifting to more online. I love that you still kept it going, even though it may have been felt a little slower. You still kept it going. Still kept the conversation going through Instagram to make sure that you were bringing your group together and still letting them know that you were here for them, and still bringing together that community, which I think that your whole business model is like living and breathing community. And if you come to your Instagram or your Facebook, like it is really living and breathing that community, and you feel like you're welcome. How do you get that feeling of welcomeness and love that you put out? How do other people get that same feeling as they're building their business?
It's funny, because this morning, to pump me up, I was listening to Beyonce. I went on a walk in the morning. Beyonce always pumps me up. And you know how she had that whole vision of like Sasha Fierce a couple years ago, and you know she was going through some personal battles, and probably none of us ever knew. And same here, like I've gone through so many personal battles, but I feel like Mi Reina is like my Sasha Fierce. Like it's my mirror of the Reina, the woman that I want to aspire to be. So I might not feel everything that I'm posting or be energized of everything I'm, you know, sharing, but it's like what I'm putting out there, I want to receive. So I try to keep that in mind, the content. So if I'm putting out something positive, I want something positive back. Like it's mutual, right? And I'm just very conscious too, not to be super positive too during these times, because not everything's positive. Not everything's, hey, cheery, linear, straight road. No, that's not the case either. I've been fortunate to go to a lot of events back in Los Angeles, where I've been in circles and workshops where other entrepreneurs and influencers have shared a lot of their tips and trades. And one tip that I heard was just be authentic. If you can be your authentic self on Instagram or social media, any platform, folks are they're gonna see that. They're gonna know what's authentic and what's not. So that's something too that I've been making sure that I put out there. What's the authenticity piece, but also just what I'm hoping other reinas can receive. You know, if I could leave someone laughing or smiling at the end of the day, or just thinking about their own roadmap, then that would make me feel like, okay, we're all connected, even though we're all in our homes, you know, the streets. We're all connected from afar, miles apart. So that's kind of been my thing.
I love that authentic piece. Excuse me. I love the fact that you're bringing together the community through what you're feeling, and you're taking what they're feeling as well. And that makes a huge difference in, you know, what they buy into, because they're buying into you, not just the clothing that you're putting out there.
Yes.
My last question, and we're going to jump into questions. So if you have questions, drop them in the chat. Who are the mentors that want to help you through the process?
The mentors?
Yes.
So there's been a lot of mentors and femtors, I call female femtors, that have kind of helped me out, you know. Oh, this is how long do I have, Kanisha? Because I don't want to leave anyone out. Because there's been a lot of people that have helped pave, you know, my path. Even and there's, how can I put, there's a season, right? There's a season in life for everything. People come in your life for a season and for a reason. But there's a few mentors and femtors, obviously, you know. Growing up, my grandmother, my I don't want to name names again because I don't want to leave anyone out, but I've been around so many tias and cousins, you know, my mom helping me raise me to the woman I am today. My parents. There was Lorraine Lee from Chicanos por la Causa. When I talk about urban planning, she pops in my head. rest in peace, because she's no longer here with us physically, but she took me under her wing when I was a college student at the U of A, and she exposed me to this model of urban planning, and specifically UCLA. I wouldn't have stepped onto that campus if it wasn't for her, because we shared the same professors, Dr. Estrada, and she gave him a call before she passed away and said, hey, take Selina off the wait list. When you see her application, take her off. So if I didn't have her advocating for me, I don't think I'd be here talking about Mi Reina Mobile Boutique or urban planning or transportation, community development, for sure. So she was just a really heavy hitter here in Tucson when you think of community development, economic development, affordable housing, social services. She was really someone that I admired and looked up to. And I'm really, really honored to have come across her in my lifetime. So I always take that with, passing on the torch to the younger Reinas. And that's what I'm trying to do right now with my daughters is hopefully this community that we're creating, when they get to be middle school, they're not going to have self-doubt. They're not going to wonder who they are, because they're going to be so strong within their identity and community that nothing is going to faze them. But it took me a long time to kind of get that community and realize that. So, and then just all the reinas that I come across, I feel like we're all learning from each other. That's why I'm like, when mentors, I used to think of it like as a older person, younger type of thing model. But now I really think of it like, folks that I see daily, that I hear their struggles, folks that have overcome a lot of battles. Those are my mentors too.
Now, what can people look forward to now?
Wow, they could look forward to getting a sweater, rocking a new little Reina sweater, hopefully creating my website. I want to create some virtual cool events online so we could continue this dialogue going. I'm gonna start planning, or I've already had some dates. I hope it's okay to announce, but November 28th. And if Mal and Melissa are listening from Galeria Mitotera, an awesome art space here in South Tucson, they're kind of opening their doors. I don't say doors, but their sidewalks to creating intimate pop-up spaces, safe social distancing. But we're gonna celebrate our 4-year Mi Reina anniversary on November 28th. So I'm gonna do a park and pull up type of event. So just park, pull up, shop. So I'm gonna try to do some intimate, smaller scale events to keep women, rocking, feeling good, and just to kind of create this safety zone of connection.
Perfect. When does the website go up?
When it'll go up, it's gonna come up at 11 p.m. tonight. Under the moon, I wish it was a full moon tonight, but under the moon, 11, my angel lucky numbers. I'm excited. It's taking me a long time to create this, but I'm super excited to now finally feel like, yes, I am running a business. It's not a little hobby on the side. No, this is something that has helped me push forward. So I'm hoping that this will help launch us even more.
So guys, tonight, site drop. So
MiReinaMobileBoutique.com officially.
Make sure she's opening up the sweaters, sell tonight, and there's a limited availability. So
Yes.
You're going to get on at 11:11. I will be there. Meet me there. We're going to open this up for questions and bring Sophia back on.
I have a few questions myself. So
Awesome.
This is usually not an appropriate question for most female founders, but I think it's super relevant for you. What is that accessory that makes you feel like a reina, or that type of accessory?
There's a couple. So this goes to watching my mom get ready. My mom wore very minimal makeup, but she always had 2 things on, lipstick and mascara. So that in terms of the accessory of makeup, but also earrings. So I always, this is Luna and Saya, by the way, I always rock either a pair of earrings if I'm just even wearing like a sweatsuit or whatever, but I have to go outside or have to do quick little Zoom call, I'll put lipstick, mascara, and earrings. So those are my accessories. And I love purses. I haven't really wore a lot of purses in the past, I guess after becoming a mama. It's been the bigger purses, the versatile from work to home to play. But I do love purses. I always have like a fanny pack right now or a little backpack. And then, sorry, I know you said two, but a hat. I love hats too.
Jen Fisher, how do you connect to old and new community when blasting and promoting where you will be and when?
Ooh. So especially during these days of, virtual outreach, obviously social media, there's different demographics on social media. There's a specific demographic on Instagram and Facebook. And then I just started a TikTok account too, which is also during COVID of like trying to get innovative. And then kind of old school too, in the beginning when I first started to do pop-ups and I wasn't in town, I would get flyers printed and put them out at some of the businesses that we were going to be partnering up with or be, or that I knew there was a lot of foot traffic. So just old school flyers and telling my family members, hey, send text messages, make phone calls, like tell folks to come out. It's going to be fun. You have to make it fun and exciting because folks just don't want to waste time and just go. What are they going to get out of it? Even if they don't shop for anything. That's why I'm so thankful. When people come and they only spend $4 with me to 400, hey, that's cool because they're spending time, and it's priceless.
Let's talk space. So what is the space that you currently occupy? And are you looking to grow into a permanent space? And what are your thoughts around that? What has being mobile meant? And then what would having a permanent space look like? Would you ever do a permanent space?
Yeah, before COVID, a group of us, we were kind of talking about opening up something. I don't want to share too much because I'm still hoping it could manifest into more of a co-op kind of creative space of selling other makers and artists and entrepreneurs, not just like Mi Reina. It would be kind of like a branch out of this mobile boutique. I don't know because right now, nothing, it wouldn't be ideal to open up something. I don't want to say never, but I just love being mobile. I love going into spaces and I love going into neighborhoods that no one is ever, I don't want to say tapped into, but no one that is just overlooked. I love going into the places where people doubt because that's kind of how I feel like personally has been kind of my path too, the potential of spaces. I would love to just kind of look at space, the vacant spaces here in Tucson. Again, when I would come back from LA and I would say, whoa, look at this parking lot, like especially at Irvington Spectrum or down South 4th Avenue. Like, look at this street, look at how it curves. There's so much potential here to create like these festivals or these 1 to 2 day type of events during this time of COVID as well. So I don't know. I would just love to connect the streets more in an intimate way.
What does it look like to set up a temporary space?
Oh, yeah.
For an event?
Mobile boutique, I love to connect. And I didn't really mention this earlier in the conversation. When I do pop up, I don't just like pop up, okay, let me see, I like this street, let me just pop up. I love to connect with what's already existing. So that could be either one, a local business, or a local nonprofit, or a school. So I've done all those. I've connected to, a local restaurant, a nonprofit, a dance studio, an elementary school in their parking lot. So it's already an official event and they kind of, work on the permit aspect. So, and then I'm kind of like a vendor. If I want to pop up on my own, which I haven't really done yet, just because of that permit protocol and the processes that be, I like to just look at, I love to just partner up with what's already existing. So there's no, iffy, sketchy things.
Sounds like responsible community work.
Well, and then I just love to like bring people together because when you think of clothes, fashion, you don't think, oh, a nonprofit or a restaurant. So it's like, yeah, it's all holistic. We're all kind of growing and supporting each other. So it's like somebody will buy an outfit from me and then go inside this restaurant and support them and buy a meal. Planning is very, very technical. And that's what I realized. And that's why when folks like wonder, that's going back to boxing in, when they ask me like, are you an urban planner? I wouldn't say yes, I'm a proud urban planner, because I've never really worked in that role as an urban planner, just because it's very technical, it's very rigid, and it's very structured. But I would say that I'm a proud community, I don't even want to say organizer, but I'm a proud the community development advocate, and when I think of development, I don't think of like buildings or infrastructure. I really think of it in terms of people and how to excite and create vibrancy, because we could create a 3-story building, luxury lofts, or green space on this building, but if the neighborhood's not for it, or if they're not walking into this building, is it really vibrant? Is it really thriving? So yeah, so that goes back to the whole concept of like urban planning, community development work.
Mm-hmm. Jackie is asking, do you have advice on how we can do a better job from a government perspective in connecting with people who aren't already engaged? So bring what you kind of learned from Inglewood, and then could you talk on maybe how can government improve the good work that they're doing?
Yeah, so before I worked for Inglewood, I actually worked for a nonprofit youth center in Santa Monica, and I loved that nonprofit for 5 years. And we were very grassroots, very like, you all want to have a barbecue in the parking lot and do some live art? Let's do it. We weren't going down to City Hall of Santa Monica and asking, can I have a permit? We want to we would just do it. Like, I don't want to say guerrilla style, but we would just go with it and do it, and that was like that organic, just let's go with it. And then when I shifted to the city government sector and I would present these ideas, they're like, well, Selina, you have to put, you can't just do a live, huge mural at the park in Inglewood. You have to, we have to get it approved by the mayor, by city council. So there was a protocol in place, right? So, and then I was able to see that process, because at that time when I worked for the nonprofit, I was thinking, man, this is taking too long. It's taking too long. But then I realized, no, there's protocols and policies that have to be put in place, obviously, even if it takes a long time. So what I used to do in Inglewood was I would plan citywide events. So that's kind of, again, the community work. I love event planning. I love bringing folks together, obviously. So we would plan annual events like MLK Day, Hispanic Heritage, Turkey Giveaway with Snoop Dogg. We would just do a lot of things at the Forum or different parks. So I worked for the Parks and Recreation Department. And what I realized was we had some awesome events. We had some events with like celebrities attending, but if you don't connect to the community and do the outreach, folks still won't come. So what I learned from there was, one, creating a social media account. So I was active of like going to social media committee meetings and trying to get the city to create a social media account, because at that time they didn't have a social media account. And then they created a whole division, which those guys were awesome, and they did all their social media for the city. And going, again, old school, going down to the businesses, walking outside City Hall, going to Market Street and connecting to those businesses and getting them, hey, do you all want to participate? Do you all want to be a vendor? Whereas like they had never been approached. So it's really about the why folks want to attend again, but also looking at what's already existing in the area. You don't have to look that far. So if it be Santa Monica, Inglewood, or Tucson, we already have existing, I was going to say treasures, but we already have existing thriving supporters. So how can we tap into them and see, what they can bring to the table? So I would just, that's what I learned from Inglewood, how to bring folks that were outside of City Hall, because I think a lot of folks, we kind of just stay in our office and take our little coffee breaks and don't engage with the community. So I made an effort to really go out into an area that I wasn't super familiar with and introduce myself and let folks know, hey, I'm not from California, I'm from Arizona, but I want to really bring, what's already existing here to our festivals and connect. So we would have like vendors, other departments be there. So it was like this model of bringing folks together, not just working in silos.
Yeah, that's great. So it sounds like your encouragement is connecting with old and new ways, and then making the permitting process super simple for community members to understand, so that they can have really great community building events.
I was gonna say too, to bring folks to be a part of the process so they could see, the process in itself, like youth. I'm always big on advocating for youth because they're so energized and pride too. They bring a lot of pride and excitement into projects.